Welcome to the Uncle's channel. Thanks for watching today, and let's continue our journey to finish every single Game Boy and Game Boy Color game. Today I focus on a game called Alleyway for the original Game Boy. Now, this is one of the launch titles for the Game Boy, along with Super Mario Land, Baseball, Tennis, and Tetris. And so Alleyway is one of the OGs for the Game Boy. And I had never actually played this game before. I'd seen it pretty much at every used game store growing up, and it looked fun because I always liked Breakout, but I actually never bought the game. And as far as like what is best compared to, it is very much of a Breakout or an Arkanoid clone, but does try to bring some of its own unique aspects to it, especially like featuring Mario here and there throughout the game. And so if you like Breakout, you'll enjoy this game. But it is very much of a bare bones title for the Game Boy. But hey, it was a launch title, so we got to cut it a little bit of slack here. Now, this particular game did get moved up in our queue a little bit because Victor390 requested one of my earlier videos, so naturally moves up in the queue. If there's a game that you want to see me cover sooner than later, let me know the name of the game in the comments down below. And just like Alleyway, we'll move it right on up. But let's go ahead and get into the actual game. Now, as I like to start the videos up, looking at the box art for the game first, and the box art for Alleyway actually surprised me quite a bit because I have seen this cover many times in the past, and I never realized Mario was on the cover here. He's in control of the little pad that you're going to use, or in this case, spaceship, to knock the ball back and forth to bust out all these little bricks that are coming at you. And there he is, right there on the cover. He got his little controls in his hand. The ball's coming at him, getting ready to bounce it back up there. It says, cruise the alleyway, because evidently the playing field is called the alleyway. Slam energy balls to destroy the vid grid. That is a new word that I know Nintendo made up for this game. No one has before or after ever said the word vid grid. But regardless, pretty good cover, summarized the game, maybe a little more action-packed than what the game is really going to hold, especially when it comes to like showing Mario. He's barely in the game at all as far as like the character of Mario, but overall a interesting cover. Summarizes, hey, it's a Breakout clone. Now when you start the actual game up here, the title screen says the title of the game and a little carnival music playing in the background, but it only plays like one verse of it, like 15-20 seconds of the song, and then it just sort of stops. And so there's not like a really good title soundtrack or title screen soundtrack to go along with that, and there is no story. I mean, I really wasn't expecting a story, and I didn't get one. And since this is one of those endless type games, I did look up to consider what's finishing the game, and there are 24 unique levels in the game, and so we're going to consider finishing all 24 levels and getting the congratulations or the nice play screen at the end, considering finishing the game here, even though you could play this game pretty much endlessly if you just simply wanted to get a higher and higher score. Now when you start the game up here, Mario does come out and hop into the little pad down at the bottom of his little spaceship, and that caught me by surprise because I had not seen the cover for the game until I got loaded up to film this video. And so like when Mario came out and hopped into the little spaceship here, I was like, holy cow, this is like a Mario game? I had no idea that Mario was present here. Now once he gets in the spaceship, it's pretty much classic Breakout here. You basically have your little pad down at the bottom and you knock the little ball up to the little bricks up above. They bounce off of that or ricochet off of it back down to your pad. Make sure you line it up where you want it to go as far as like angle wise, and then knock the ball back up to more bricks to break away. And of course your goal here is to destroy all the bricks in order to finish the stage. Now there are 3 different colors of bricks up here that you can destroy. The lightest colors are going to be the least amount of points, and the darkest colors are going to be the most amount of points. I believe it's 1, 2, and 3 as far as like the number of point value that you get from them. However, like the points rack up so fast when you're bouncing off of them, sometimes it's hard to see exactly like how many each one of them are worth. Also, the different color tone of the block is going to determine which sound effect is going to play when you hit that particular block. And there is no background music in the game, so to some degree, hitting the blocks and knocking them back and forth as fast as you can creates like your own little tunes as you go. But the sound is very limited in the game because it really could use a background music for this. Now that's pretty much stage 1 here. Just simply try to clear off the entire screen and you finished it up. Now you move on into stage 2. It's going to be the exact same layout as stage 1, except the blocks are going to be rotating or sort of sliding horizontally here across the screen and just sort of loop around until you destroy all the blocks this way. Not a huge mix up from level 1, but it is a little bit of a different gameplay mechanic as far as like your strategy is going to go. And then you move into stage 3, you're going to get the exact same layout a 3rd time here, and except this time the blocks are going to slowly descend closer and closer to you, making it a little bit harder to get your aim or a little bit more faster reaction speed, because the closer the blocks are to you, the quicker you have to be able to move your paddle back and forth in order to ricochet it back up toward the top. But none of these 3 stages are particularly hard, and so it's a good little intro to the game. Now, after you defeated stage 3, you're going to get your first bonus stage, and the bonus stages are pretty legit here. They're probably the like best part of the game as far as like where the charm comes into play, and they give you a giant pixelated picture of Mario here from the NES Super Mario Bros. 1, and just simply knock the ball up and try to hit all the little tiles or all the little pixels of Mario. Nothing ricochets. Your whole job here is just simply to try to hit every single tile at least once and make it disappear. And there is a time limit here, so it's a classic bonus stage. Get as many points in as you possibly can before the timer runs out. Honestly, these bonus stages are the things you're going to look forward most into the game, just simply because it's going to change the pace or change the gameplay the most. Now at this point I'm going to start grouping 3 stages together, because every 3 stages is going to have the exact same layout, and it's going to change the movement of the tile between the stages. For example, like stage 4 is going to be very static, stage 5 is once again going to be the sliding horizontal, and stage 6 is going to be where it starts coming down closer and closer to you, making it a little more claustrophobic as you're knocking it back. But the only difference in stage 4, 5, and 6 versus 1, 2, and 3 here are simply going to be that instead of having one giant block of little tiles to bust through, you have 3 separate layers to go through. And not a huge difference, but you know, they are trying to add a little bit of variety as you go. Now when you get to the bonus stage here, you're going to get a Koopa Troopa, which is once again straight out of Mario 1, but I really enjoy it. This is definitely the charm of the game, and I enjoy seeing the Koopa Troopa busting through here and taking him out. Now stages 7, 8, and 9 are going to be more like a checkered pattern here, so like 2 blocks together and then a little space and 2 more blocks together. And it's really easy in this stage, like get the ball sort of like stuck in here, start ricocheting. This is probably one of the more fun stages in the game, just simply because I mean, the fun of Breakout is going to get the ball ricocheting as much as possible, and so this stage is really going to help that going here. Also, I forgot to mention, in these stages and also in the 4, 5, and 6, anytime you touch the top of the level here, at the top of the platform, past the alleyway, you are going to have your paddle down here shrink to half size, and that's going to make it a little bit more hard, but at the same time, you definitely want to get up to the top to get the maximum amount of ricochet as you can, and so it's like a risk-reward situation there. But stages 7, 8, and 9, you know, this little checkered pattern here, pretty good little mix-up. Then you get to the bonus stage, you can get to the little squid from Mario. I'm sure there's a name for the squid from Mario, I just can't think of it at the moment. Let me know in the comments down below the name of the Mario squid, because it is just escaping me here. Now stages 10, 11, and 12 are going to have like 2 dividers in the middle here, and then 3 rows going across, and the dividers cannot be destroyed, so that's going to mix the as far as like ricocheting vertically a little bit here, mix the gameplay up a little bit. And then you're going to get the bonus stage after that, which is going to be a Piranha Plant, and the Piranha Plant's a really good sprite here. I'm not sure if that's a little bit better than the sprite from Mario, but it's a really good sprite that you're working through. And then you get to stages 13, 14, 15, and I know I'm going through these pretty fast, but like there's just simply not a lot to this game in particular. And stages 13, 14, and 15 are going to be like little waves that come across here, and it's probably one of the easier stages in the game. I probably would have swapped some of the earlier ones out. Like the checkered one was harder for sure than this, as well as the ones like the dividers. Both of those were harder than the waves here. And then you get to the next bonus stage, you're going to get Bullet Bill, and so you know, destroy him as you go. And then stages 16, 17, and 18 is going to be the only like official stage that has a Mario characteristic to it, and there's Mario's giant head right there in the middle, and you actually get to bounce up there and ricochet and destroy a little bit of Mario's head piece by piece. And this is an entertaining stage because like as you're destroying Mario's head and it sort of starts shrinking down, sometimes it looks like there's like a miniature Mario head inside the Mario head, and you can make like different shapes out of it, and Mario gets a little bit deformed. I mean, the game itself is a little bit on the dry side, so you have to find the sense of humor or the highlights in little parts like this. And then you're going to get to the bonus stage after here, and you have a Goomba, and I am almost positive the Goomba here is not the Goomba from the NES. This definitely looks like a better sprite of a Goomba, maybe like somewhere between like Mario 2 and Mario 3. I take that back, Mario 2 didn't have Goombas. Closer to the sprite of Mario 3 Goomba rather than Mario 1 Goomba, at least to me. And then in 19, 20, 21, you're going to get 3 parts here with 3 sections each part and a dividing line, and a little bit of a challenge here. You're going to get a bonus stage after this of Cheep Cheep, the little fish that jumps out of the water and tries to hit Mario. A good little sprite there. And then in 22, 23, and 24, this level here is going to have like 2 giant C's in the middle, or I guess 1 C and one like sort of coming next to it on the other side. I guess like a semicircle to a degree, almost like a Pokeball maybe. And your goal is to simply hit around that because the C's cannot be destroyed, and you're going to ricochet off of that. Not necessarily my favorite level, level, but a good enough challenge to finish the game up here. And then when you do finish stage 24, the final bonus stage in the game is going to be Bowser. And once again, you just simply try to destroy all the little tiles here, and you do not ricochet off of any of them. Now, after you finish that bonus stage, you get a little screen here that says "Nice play." Mario is right there in the middle, got a creepy little smile about him. And says Nintendo down at the bottom, and you have officially finished Alleyway. Now you can continue on playing the game here, but nothing is really going to change as far as like bonus stages or other stages you're going to go through. You've experienced everything that the game has to offer, and if you want to go on further from this, you're just simply trying to get a high score. And if you're playing, you know, we've got a little contest amongst your friends. That could be a fun little activity to do. But if you're just simply playing Alleyway by yourself, this is going to be the end of the game or the fun of the game for it. Now let's talk about Alleyway as like an overall here. First up, I do like arcadey games like Breakout, and so like this is down my alley as far as like a fun game to play. It does get a little repetitive because the levels don't swap up that much. Every 3 levels you get a different change, but you are playing 3 levels back to back that there is no change except for the positioning of rotating left to right or sort of going down a little bit. And that gets a little bit boring. I really wish like they had added more like Nintendo sprites in there, like they had the Mario head you get to destroy. And I wish they had done like more of that as far as like, you know, different Mario levels you could sort of bounce around and destroy. That'd been pretty darn cool. But instead of doing that, they just simply put the bonus stages. And honestly, if they just done the bonus stages like the main stages in the game, that would have been a whole lot better as well. They could have added like a ton of Mario charm into the game and done like, you know, Mario's Breakout. And I feel like that would have been a better game here. It almost feels like they created this game and in the last minute decided to add the extra Mario bonus stages in, as well as the Mario sprite when he hops into the little pad, and in order to market it basically as a Mario game. That's just sort of my guess as sort of the development for the game. But as far as like an early Game Boy launch title, one of the first 5 to come out, if you were a kid back in 1989, this is a great game to load up and take on a road trip, compete with your brother or compete with your friends for high scores. And I don't know, I think it's a fine game. Very bare bones, very basic, but it does have a little bit of Mario charm, but it could have been so much more. I'm going to give it a score of 4 out of 10. I think that's probably pretty fair. 5 might be pushing it, but I think 4 is a very safe score for Alleyway. It's not a horrible game, but at the same time, I don't feel like there's enough here to pull in the vast majority of players when there are definitely better Breakout games to play, even on the Game Boy system itself, I believe anyway. I think Super Breakout's on here. And at least from my memory as a kid, I enjoyed that one a little bit more than Alleyway. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos listed up above. As always, go out there, find a great game to play. Simply have a great rest of the day.